Good morning. Today we're going to be tying up a fly called the Mole Midge. I believe it's a Charlie Craven pattern, if I'm not wrong. I've got a size 14 curved hook in my vise, almost a scud hook. Probably is a scud hook. I'm using 18-aught nano silk on this. We're going to put some stuff that's going to kind of go over the top. This is going to be more of an emerger pattern. So we're going to tie some stuff up front before we start with the work on the back. So the first material we're going to tie on is going to be some Fluoro Fibre. It's kind of like Crystal Flash, but it's much thinner and much shinier as well. This is going to go over the eye of the hook, so we're going to tie it right a little bit behind the eye. My main goal right at the moment is to keep those fibers on the top of the shank of the hook here. So I'm just going to take just a couple wraps to get that locked down there. And then what I'm going to do is take a few wraps backwards. You notice I didn't take the thread all the way around the bend of the hook. We'll do that here in just a moment. So I'm going to take this butt end bunch and I'm going to pull it over the top as well. And I'm going to hold all of that in place. As we tie it in. The other material we're going to have going over the eye is a CDC feather. Love CDC. This is a medium dun. You could go with a dark dun. You could go with a light dun. For right now, I'm just going to tie this fellow in with a few thread wraps, keeping it on top of the top of the shank of the hook as well. I'll take a couple thread wraps backwards, and then I'm just going to draw that back with my fingers to the length that I want it. So this is going to be sticking up and over the water column there. It's in the process of emerging. So we're just going to take a few thread wraps again back up towards the eye, making sure that we keep all of our materials on the top of the hook here. I'm going to take my scissors and cut the butt end of the CC off, and what I like to do is just kind of hold it at an angle, not a really steep angle, but a little bit of an angle when I make this cut. And what that does is it creates a kind of a taper, and we're going to want a taper on this fly. So now we'll just go ahead, take some thread wraps back to cover up the butt ends of our CDC here. So the next material we'll tie in this red stripped peacock quill. I like to tie it with the black side down. If you notice, you can see the red is on top. There's a little black stripe on the bottom. That's just going to give us a nice body segment. And I'm just going to tie this down back around the back of the hook here, being really careful not to pull too tight here at the end, just because that will cut through the fiber, and I don't want that to happen because then I'll have to find another one and put it on. So now I'm just going to come in and we'll go ahead and clip off the butt end of our quill there, and then I'm going to tie forward and just make sure I have it all in good condition where I want it. I'm just going to grab my hackle pliers and we're going to attach to the back end of this stripped peacock herl. Got to be really careful with this stuff. It's breaks very easily, and if you hit the point of the hook, it's really going to break off. So I'm always a little bit slow with these first few wraps. I want to make sure I get one full wrap around the tail. Then we're just going to take overlapping wraps as we move up towards the eye of the hook, keeping enough tension on it that it's not loose, but not so much tension on it that it's breaking off. What does the other side look like? From there, I'll just go ahead and Take my thread off of the bobbin cradle there. I'm going to take a couple of wraps over the top of that to make sure that this herl stays in place, or this quill. And then I'll take a couple of wraps on the other side. From there, I can release that from my hackle plier and come on in and clip off the excess, the balance of that. So from here, we're just going to go ahead and wet finish. Then we'll do the final kind of touches on the pattern. So don't need too many wraps here to build up a big head or anything. You want to try to not catch all your material either. Once I've got it there, I'm just going to grab my thread cutter and turn my vise a little bit to where the thread is attached. Just like that. We'll finish off the body here by adding a little bit of really thin, light resin. Try to get my vise to not move on me here. You just want to make sure you have a nice even coat that goes all the way down to the bottom. So once I've got it where I want it, I'll just grab my torch and we'll just go ahead and hit it and harden up that UV resin. Now that we've got the resin cured, I'm going to go ahead and cut off the Fluoro Fibre. I want it to be just a hair longer than what that CDC is. So I'm just going to pull it out, make my cut. Make sure you get that straggler that was kind of in place there. Pull all of this back and up. And with that, there you have it, the Mole Midge. A really easy pattern to tie up really quickly. It's very effective. Like I mentioned, I think I mentioned before, Charlie Craven is the one I kind of saw tie this and wanted to give it a shot. And a great emerger pattern. This portion right here at the eye should be floating on the surface of the water. The body should be hanging down. Good pattern. Throw a hook in your vise and give it a go.